When a family decides to go to a forbidden lake that for generations causes the death of anyone who approaches, the story presents an apparently united family, formed by Richard, his wife Donna, and their 3 children, Jack, Lucas, and Tessa. On a certain day, Richard and Donna take the children to spend a vacation period in a quiet place, far from the city, where they plan to camp in the middle of nature, in a place called Living Springs. Before the trip, everyone organizes and separates the necessary items, and Jack, Lucas, and Tessa also take a ball and baseball bats to have fun later. After facing a long journey, they finally arrive at the destination. To record the vacation moments, Jack takes a camera and starts filming everything they do. While Richard and Donna take care of preparing the food, the children decide to play baseball. As Lucas does not have much skill in the game, Jack starts mocking him. Irritated with the situation, Lucas throws the ball toward the middle of a nearby lake and tells Tessa to go get it. Initially, she thinks about going, but at that moment the parents call everyone for dinner. During all the activities, Jack continues recording everything with the camera. While filming the surroundings, he notices a mysterious figure standing silently in the middle of the forest, watching them. Upon noticing this, Richard approaches and realizes that it is someone lost, who does not know where to go. Upon returning, he finds it strange when he realizes that Tessa is no longer nearby. Richard begins the search until everyone hears her screams. Tessa had gone to the lake to retrieve the ball that had sunk, and since she does not know how to swim, she begins to drown. However, the way she drowns seems unusual, as if something were pulling her body downward. Desperate, Richard tries to save her, but cannot find her anywhere. Overcome with pain, he collapses upon realizing he could not help her. Suddenly, a strange creature emerges from the lake and begins to approach him. After this event, Tessa is considered missing and presumably dead by drowning, and Richard also ends up dying in a mysterious way. 25 years after Tessa's death, Donna begins to suffer from mental problems and needs medication to control her condition. Lucas is also affected, facing depression and depending on medication to lead a life considered normal. Since his sister's death, he carries a strong feeling of guilt, believing that everything happened because he forced her to get the ball. His life, however, changes when he marries a woman named Steffi, and together they have a daughter named Zoe. Despite the marriage, Lucas does not show concern for either Jack or his own daughter, which causes the two to end up living in his mother's house. Meanwhile, the older brother, Jack, is the only one who maintains some stability in the family and works hard to support everyone. Currently, he works in a cinema. After finishing his shift, he returns home bringing food for Lucas and their mother. The next day, Jack meets his close friend Liz at a school where she has just taken the position of vice principal, and then he gives her a gift, a photo of the two of them together. Despite being very close, Jack sees her only as a friend, while Liz secretly has feelings for him, and later he invites her to go to his house, as Donna wants to celebrate Tessa's 8th birthday. And even after Tessa was declared missing at the lake 25 years ago, and they never found her body, Donna refuses to accept this situation, and because of that, every year she celebrates her daughter's birthday as if she were still alive, which leaves Lucas angry, since his mother insists on it, while Zoe, who is beside her, never has a birthday party, and taken by anger, Lucas ends up destroying the cake, causing Donna to tell him and Zoe to leave the house, taking everything that belongs to them. And the next morning, while in the bathroom, Lucas begins to have hallucinations for having forgotten to take his medication, and these visions cause him to hurt himself, even seeing his own body dead inside the bathtub. And suddenly Jack hears a gunshot coming from the bathroom, and when he runs to check, he is shocked and devastated to realize that his brother took his own life. And when looking at the mirror, he notices the word Nix written as if it were with blood. And after Lucas's death, his body is taken to a church, where prayers are said so that his soul may rest in peace. And when the ceremony ends, Zoe, Lucas's daughter, sees a strange creature lying over his coffin, and then they leave the church and meet Steffi, Lucas's wife, who is now with a new boyfriend. She expresses her condolences for his death and asks Jack to take care of Zoe for now, and when they return home, Zoe goes down to the basement and notices 3 handprints pressed into a layer of cement on the floor. And Jack explains that those marks were made by him, Lucas, and Tessa when they were children, and during the conversation, Zoe feels the presence of something strange around them and asks Jack if he has ever heard mysterious voices, as she has been hearing them lately. And confused, Jack tries to calm her and hugs her while Zoe clearly shows fear, and he says that he also misses Lucas. And the next day, Jack goes to a museum to meet a man named Idris, Donna's older brother, who asks how she is, and Jack explains that she depends on medication to live, and that even after years of treatment, her condition has not improved, and Idris asks Jack to take good care of her, because after Lucas's death her mental state will probably worsen. And the next day, Jack, Liz, Donna, and Zoe travel to Living Springs carrying an urn with Lucas's ashes with the intention of scattering them in the river. But when they go to get the urn, they realize that it has mysteriously disappeared, even being sure that they placed it in the bag and that no one took it. And since it did not fall nor was stolen, no one understands where it went, and despair takes over, and everyone starts searching the area. But even with the arrival of night, they cannot find it, and then Jack and Liz decide to check the car while Donna and Zoe rest a little. And Zoe asks if it was in that place that Tessa disappeared, and Donna immediately confirms that yes. Feeling a lot of longing for her daughter, Donna asks Zoe to go with her to look for her, which worries Jack and Liz, who begin to wonder where the two went. Jack then asks Liz to go to the car to get the weapon, while he goes out in search of Donna and Zoe. While Liz looks for the weapon, she begins to feel frightened by a mysterious presence. At the same time, Jack finds Donna unconscious on the ground and tries to ask where Zoe is, but she does not respond. Jack, having no other option, begins to search for the girl, and after some time walking, he finds a small cabin in the middle of the forest and suspects that Zoe is inside. He forces his way in and finds Zoe next to a mysterious woman. Jack is surprised to see the baseball bat he used in childhood and wonders how that woman got it. Upon realizing that something is wrong, he grabs Zoe and says they need to leave, but suddenly a terrifying creature appears and blocks the way. Jack tells Zoe to run to the car while he tries to face the creature, and during the fight, he almost ends up being killed. However, Liz arrives in time and shoots the creature. After that, Jack takes Donna to the hospital to be examined, and the doctor explains that she only suffered dehydration. The next day, Jack tells Idris about Donna's condition and also confesses that he feels that something is pursuing his family, and that, since Tessa's death, it is as if they are all being haunted by something inexplicable. Even after hearing this, Idris does not believe in anything supernatural. That night, Jack enters Lucas's old room looking for some clue about what is happening and ends up finding several strange papers written by him. Suddenly, he hears a scream coming from Zoe's room and runs to see what happened. Zoe says that her mother appeared, but was acting strangely, and soon after left through the window and disappeared. Worried about Steffi, Zoe asks Jack to look for her the next day. The next day, Jack goes to Steffi's house, but discovers that she died mysteriously. In shock, he looks for Liz and shows the papers Lucas had written, which seemed to form a riddle. One specific word catches his attention: Nix, the same one he saw written on the mirror on the day of Lucas's death. Liz explains that Nix is a German word that means nothing. The strangest thing is that the papers are now blank, as if they had never had any writing. Even so, Jack is sure that he saw the riddle before, something that seemed to point to the entity that haunts his family. Confused, he decides to return home, and shortly after he leaves, Liz also begins to feel the mysterious presence. Meanwhile, upon arriving home, Jack lies to Zoe, saying that Steffi is fine, trying to spare her the truth. Then he goes down to the basement and breaks the concrete where the handprints made by him, Lucas, and Tessa when they were children were. Inside, he finds a box with old childhood photos, as well as his old camera and the recordings he made when he was younger. Not long after, Liz goes to Jack's house, and during the visit, he decides to play one of the old recordings that show the family trip. However, something disturbing happens, as Jack sees in the images a scene in which Liz appears dead and covered in blood, something that only he can see, since Liz does not see anything strange. Upon realizing that something truly supernatural is happening, Jack decides to return to Living Springs to discover the truth. Before going, he asks Liz to stay and protect Zoe. Upon arriving at the place, Jack takes the same camera he used in childhood and starts filming the forest again. There he begins to have visions about Tessa's death and finally discovers that she was killed by the entity that inhabits the lake. In the vision, he sees little Tessa running and jumping into the water, when the creature grabs her by the leg and pulls her down. Upon hearing the screams, Richard and Donna run to the lake and try to save her desperately, but they cannot. Overcome by pain and guilt, Donna loses emotional control and, without realizing it, ends up being possessed by the dark entity that lives in the lake, and under the influence of this force, she slowly approaches Richard, holding a baseball bat. Under the influence of the entity, Donna strikes Richard on the head with a blow, causing a fatal injury, and he dies immediately, bleeding at the edge of the lake. During the vision, Jack finds an elderly woman who lives in a cabin near the lake, and she explains that she is a spirit tasked with guarding the place and the creature sealed within it, an evil being known as Nyx. Long ago, Nyx was imprisoned in the lake because it brought disaster and death to anyone who approached. But when Jack's family went there years earlier, the creature began to lure Tessa toward the water. Before Tessa entered the lake, the old woman tried to warn her, begging her not to go, but Tessa ignored the warning and ended up becoming a sacrifice for the entity. After Tessa drowned, Richard and Donna entered the lake to look for her. But inside those dark waters, Nyx took control of Donna's body and has lived within her ever since. After witnessing this terrifying vision, Jack finally understands the truth. Richard did not die by accident. He was murdered by Donna while she was under Nyx's control. Desperate, Jack runs back home and goes to the basement, where he discovers a locked room that Donna always kept secret. Upon breaking the lock, he finds a disturbing scene with a mattress, Tessa's old dolls, and a chair. While observing the place, Donna appears, approaches the bed, and calls Tessa by name, making it clear that she still does not accept that her daughter is dead. Then Donna reveals a terrifying truth. The entity that lives inside her needs sacrifices to continue existing. She has already killed Lucas and Steffi, and now wants Zoe as the next victim. Before that happens, Jack begs Donna to fight the creature with all her strength and resist its control. Although Donna manages to regain control for a brief moment, she knows that it will not last long. To end everything once and for all, Donna asks Jack to take her back to Living Springs, where she intends to take her own life. Donna believes that this is the only way to destroy the entity and protect the rest of the family from further suffering. Before they go, Donna apologizes to Jack and says that the blame for the destruction of the family is hers. Jack does not want to accept this and does not want her to die, but understands that if she remains alive, the creature will also remain, and it will never leave the family in peace, so even against his own will, he agrees to fulfill her final request. After Donna's death, Jack meets Liz and Zoe at a restaurant. Now that Zoe is the only family he has left, Jack decides to take her away from the city to start a new life together. However, Zoe's expression changes, and she becomes sad because she does not want to leave Liz behind, since if they leave, she will never be able to see her again. Realizing the girl's sadness, Jack changes his mind and decides to stay for a while at Liz's house, which makes Zoe happy again. Then Zoe finally reveals the truth about the disappearance of the urn. It was she who hid it. Zoe admits that she was not ready to say goodbye to her father yet, and because of that, decided to keep the ashes close to her, and thus the story comes to an end.